Right. Hello, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is jerningham here. I'm just wiping the lens of my phone. It's a bit dirty, obviously. It's got like bits on it. Sometimes your lens on your phone needs a bit of a clean. Just use a tissue, or you could use this to sleeve your hand just to do this. Anyway, why am I doing this video today? Ambulance strikes public arrangement to use to common scene with the active of the NHS in the UK. We're about Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Will London just have ambulance services, which they do, with army people, personnel picking up people if they're ill, if they're poorly, and picking up from their houses, flats, properties, buildings, anywhere they can pick them up off the streets. What my point is about it all, why do we have to wait so long for the NHS? I was in the hospital the other day I've been to many hospitals across the UK. I've been to Shrewsbury Hospital. They kept me waiting in there for 6 hours one time. I've been in Wolverhampton Hospital. Kept me waiting in there 4 hours. I've been in a hospital in Stepping Hill in Stockport. They kept me waiting for 4.5 hours, 7 hours. Manchester Hospital, they kept me waiting 6 or 7 hours. These are the people that have been waiting in the hospitals. It's very annoying that I waited at Wolverhampton the other day. I wanted to know what was going on with my problems of my own, my illnesses of what I've got. I had testicle cancer several years ago back, and they removed it and put a silicone ball in. I was having problems, usually with my problems that I'm having with my my ball, my private areas down below. Some people don't actually talk about the private parts and stuff because they're private. Obviously, they don't want people to know the business. But for me, I do YouTube, and that's what I like to do. I waited there for several hours. They did my obs, they did my blood tests, they did my, temperature to see how I was. The last time I went there, they gave me some tablets, and I can show you what tablets they are. Just give me a second, what I'm talking about, and then we can talk about this video. Right, give me 1 second, guys and girls, ladies and boys and girls. I'm just getting my tablets to show you what I mean, so I'm not confusing people, and they know what I'm saying. So, basically, give me a second. Try and get this. Go. Right, give me a second. They gave me some tablets the last time when I was at the hospital to clear an infection, like for a swelling down below. They gave me some ciprofloxacin 500 milligram tablets. As you can see here, ciprofloxacin. You can get these from Lloyd's Pharmacy. You can get them from any pharmacy you want to get them from. But like I say, I'm from Shifnal Ifnal, so I get mine from there. I don't really use Lloyd's Pharmacy. It says on here for these tablets, occur finishing less told to stop, avoid milk and zinc for 4 hours, which I did. The man told me that these are good and said to me, the doctor, they will clear the infection, which they did. You see, it came back again. So they prescribed me with another antibiotic and another drug what could do the problem and sort out the problem. So basically, they gave me some of these tablets, and I've been nothing but sick on them. Like these tablets, as you can see, doxine cycline or something, as you can see, and they come in like capsules of blue. They're like blue and white tablets. I had one today. I was a bit sick again, as you can probably see for the front of it there. You can see white and blue. I puked twice in these. Do you eat food with them? Do you not? Do you wait 2 hours for these tablets? I don't know. But there's many people, like old people, young people, people that want to see a doctor, people won't want to get in to the NHS and just want to know what's going on. Imagine if you're a person like me that's had a lot of problems like testicle cancer, problems down below, personal problems. You want to know if you've got a cyst down below. You want to know if you've got any illnesses like that are growing down there. You want people to think that things are okay for you. I mean, I lost my mum of breast cancer, which is very saddening, and I feel sorry for all the people that have lost their mums of that cancer as well, and the fathers, the sisters, the brothers, the uncles and aunties. It's very saddening. But do the NHS really understand what we're going through? Or the thing is, do they have the staff and the resources to help everybody? I mean, we used to live in such a great country, which is Great Britain, and people would help us. Let's see, just give me a second. I'm just seeing how long I've been on the phone for. Been on the phone for like 5 minutes, and people would listen to us, help us, support us, be there for us. The same people that are in old people's homes, they need help and a bit of guidance, don't we all? I mean, every time I get annoyed and angry, I think to myself, people do listen, some people don't. You know, they dope us up the tablets, to give us medication, they say you get better. You know, people are in pain. Some people, unfortunately, would probably die, which is a very saddening thing for us guys and girls, lesbian boys and girls, people will, new subscribers. But do they really care about us, or do they just not have the staff there? Are they trying their very best, but they can't help everybody? Sometimes you help people, sometimes you can't. But what do you do? Do you keep fighting? Some people give up. What is the real answer here? Why should we have to be scared in this world, in England, to talk to somebody if you're ill? I've got a problem, and if you're not very well. It shouldn't be the case, should it, guys and girls, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Perhaps some of you guys and girls and ladies and gentlemen probably know people that have been on these tablets and say they're not very good, and you won't trust the tablets. I mean, I've had 5 water infections so far. Ciprofloxacin, the dioxazine, what these are. Some other medications have given me. It keeps coming back. Some people say, do you wash yourself properly? Yes, I keep myself clean. What kind of things do you use to wash yourself with? Soap or shower gel? Do you clean your teeth? Do you gel your hair? I mean, it's different, or have a shave, or most of us do to keep clean and tidy and presentable. I do have a shave every day and stuff, and clean my teeth. Some people probably don't. And that's where diseases happen. Then it came along with the COVID-19 virus. Then people died of that. And then other diseases like strep A, which is killing the children in the world. All these things, that everything's going downhill. If they just actually support people, then there's not enough support out there. That's why more people, unfortunately now, are staying in hospitals. Not enough social workers, not enough police force, security guards, ambulance people. If they hired out more ambulances, they could probably make more buildings. If they've got the money, they probably haven't. Hire more staff. Not everybody's interested in emergency services job or working in the NHS or the police force or security guards, because we all like different things in the world, you see. Not all of us are the same. But my point today in this video is, some of us are being forgotten. None of us should, not all of us should deserve that. People should actually notice us as human beings, support us, help us, and guide us for this crazy time that we're in. You know, the winter, they say it's bad in the winter. What about the summer? People are struggling to feed themselves and live in their home and heat their homes up and have to go to food banks and stuff. All of us are struggling our own way. Some of us can't find the help out there. They expect you to go out there in the world and find it yourself. And some people say, doesn't most people? Some people struggle, like me and a lot of other people. I had a very nice day today. My uncle came today in Ifnal, and he visited me, and he brought me a few beers, which I can't drink, obviously because of the infection. Like I'm going to be showing you what he's bought me, and I can't drink because of the tablets. So he came down and got me some San Miguel beers, if you know what they are. Just give me a second. I'm sorry to keep putting the phone down, but he did came today, and he brought me some, is it Bucks Fizz, if you know what the Bucks Fizz means. But like I say, I can't really drink anything. I can't drink the beers, so it's a bit pointless me showing you, but I'll show you anyway. So basically, you bought me some of this Bucks Fizz. If you know what Bucks Fizz is, 33. I think it's a bit like champagne, and some people like to drink champagne. Christmas is the time to probably get fat and drinking and eating stuff, which it probably is for Christmas. So this is the Bucks Fizz, you can see. It's a very big bottle. I know some people may enjoy it and think, well, get smashed on Christmas. I used to enjoy getting drunk. Because of all these infections now, I've had to give up the beer, and that was a hard thing for me. And I'm still going to keep doing my stories and stuff. So this is the Bucks Fizz. Some people may say, wow, that was really amazing. I can't drink because of the, obviously, medication. So some people say, you're in on it for another week. Fair point. But anyway, he came down and he got me some San Miguel. Now, some people may know what San Miguel means for beers. Some people may drink them. So let me show you the San Miguel. So there we go, San Miguel beers. I can't drink. I would have enjoyed to drink these, but unfortunately, because of my illness, I can't. And some people say that sucks, and that's a shame. Well, yeah. So I'm not going to be touching them because it'll make me twice as worse because I'm on the medication. Some people would say to me, you've had to have learnt to do your videos over and over again. No, I'm going to always keep uploading videos and doing stuff, but we're going to be taking a good look of what this video says on here about the ambulance service now. Guys, girls, ladies and boys and girls, and Sky News. Some people say it's fake news. Where do you read the media stuff? Let's get into it.
First, let's just try and clear this up. What's your advice to the public today if they need to call 999 and want an ambulance sent?
Well, it's to use their common sense. The system will be under very severe pressure today. The trade unions have refused to give national exemptions in terms of all life-threatening and emergency calls. They've said that they will prioritise those, but it'll be down to local agreements with trust and indeed some decisions taken in call centres. So the system will be under significant pressure, and therefore we're saying to the public to exercise their common sense in terms of what activities they do, being mindful of the fact that there are those pressures on the system.
Actually, local decisions, are they not the best ones to take rather than having a national plan? Is that one of your concerns? There is no national contingency plan in place. Isn't that your job?
Well, the difficulty of putting contingency measures
thousands of ambulances working in England.
What exactly is and is not being covered, and the fact that those decisions in some cases will be taken on the day. But it's also the case that even what's referred to as category 3 urgent calls are often very serious as well. So we're doing
military, their personnel have been deployed driving ambulances. 10,000 ambulance workers walk out 28th of December 2022.
In terms of people that might fall. So there's a range of measures from a contingency perspective that we've been putting in place, but there's obviously limits to what that can be done. And therefore it is down to the trade unions in terms of what exemptions they provide. And the concern is particularly if services are taken from the picket line, that adds further confusion on the day and potentially delays responses.
Secretary of State, you said in your piece this morning in the Telegraph that the only way to resolve this is by talking. The unions want to talk to you, they keep saying that, but they want to talk to you about pay. So why won't you do that?
Well, we have a process in terms of pay, an independent process, and we've accepted the recommendations in full, and that looks at both the pressures on the NHS and indeed at the autumn statement, additional funding was targeted to the NHS. The Chancellor allocated an extra £6.6 billion to the NHS, but he also put in place the biggest ever increase in social care funding, an extra £7.5 billion over the next 2 years, and that recognises, particularly for paramedics, one of the biggest issues raised with me when I was talking to ambulance staff on Sunday evening. Actually, what they said to me was more important than pay was the frustration around handover delays at hospitals, and they're often caused by the delay in getting patients out of hospital who are fit to be discharged. That's why the Chancellor invested the extra £7.5 billion in social care, an extra 200,000 social care packages. So we're investing in the NHS, we're investing in social care, and I want to divert money from those essential services focused on patients to overturn what has been an independent process which has looked at what is affordable to the economy, what is affordable to your viewers at a time of cost of living pressure, but also recognising the system's under very severe pressure, and we need to get that extra investment into the NHS and into social
You
care.
just feel like you're in a war.
We'll come back to some of
Hard
the
times,
points you make
Cold War.
there in a moment, Secretary of State. But I just want to read you what's been said by the NHS Providers and NHS Confederation yesterday. They said that the fear of NHS leaders is that the risk to patients is only going to get worse with future strikes plans. That is, unless the government is able to reach agreement with the trade unions to bring a swift end to the dispute. Now, that's not the union saying that. That's not nurses saying that. That is the NHS providers. And this is on the government, on you, to come to an agreement.
Well, we have, as I say, accepted in full the pay review body recommendations, but that's in addition to last year.
Sorry, Secretary of State, let me just interrupt you there, sir. I'm sorry to do that, but you always talk about the pay review bodies, and you know, as well as I do, that the pay review body is not always listened to. Back in 2014, the pay review body recommended a 1% increase in NHS pay. That was rejected by the now Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt. In 2018, police officers were recommended a pay review increase of 2%. That was rejected as well. So you can make a decision to not listen to the pay review body. Why are you not doing it in this instance?
And when we have done that, you've been the first, I'm sure, to
I just saw that the computer thought I was speaking to it.
Independence. The difference here is we have accepted those recommendations in full because we recognise the system coming out of the pandemic has been under pressure. So we have accepted the recommendations in full, and that comes on top of last year when the rest of the public sector had a pay freeze. We prioritised the NHS with an extra 3% rise when many other people were facing a pay freeze. So we have prioritised the NHS. We've accepted in full the independent pay review body's recommendations, but we've gone further and we've put an extra £6.6 billion into the NHS and the record funding into social care because we recognise the huge strains the NHS is in as a consequence of the pandemic. And it's important that we focus on those patient services to clear the backlogs in operations, to address the handover delays, to get the support into primary care for GPs, because that's where the system is under most pressure.
Let me put it to you like this then, Mr. Barclay. Without having staff in the health service because they're not being paid, they're not working in the right conditions, you won't be able to improve those services and treatment outcomes.
Well, pay is a factor. I mean, the basic pay of a paramedic, the average pay of a paramedic is $34,300. But when you add in overtime and unsocial hours, that's an extra 37%, takes it up to $47,000. On top of that, you get a 20%, a fifth going into pension as well. So
madness world, isn't it?
Listen to the recommendations of
Still halfway through the video.
Pay, but pay is just one of a number of factors. We also look at the fleet. We're investing in more ambulances. We're putting more money into ambulance trusts, an extra £150 million. We're also investing in call centres because we're seeing very significant increases in pressure on the number of calls that ambulance trusts are facing. So we put an extra £50 million into that. And as well as that, we recognise there's a particular issue in terms of the elderly, those elderly people that fall, the need to get services to them. That's why we've been working with partners like St John's Ambulance, an extra 30 million in to get St John's Ambulance targeting those elderly falls. So we're investing more in the system. We're doing that within the context of an independent process that looks at pay, but it's also important that we tackle some of these system pressures, particularly around social care. That's why we put the record funding into that, and that in turn has a very big impact on paramedics.
That is going to take a while to feed through, as you well know. Now, you mentioned in the Telegraph today that striking workers are taking a conscious decision to put patients at risk. That's not conciliatory language. That's not going to bring the two sides closer together. That's only going to harden the side against you, isn't it?
Well, it's just a reflection of fact. The trade unions have chosen this time for the strike. We saw over the last week a 73% increase in flu admissions to hospital. We saw a 27% increase in COVID admissions. We've got 5 times the normal prescribing rate of prescriptions for antibiotics in terms of strep A. We've had a massive increase in calls to 111, up by more than a third. We've got an increase in calls to 999 over the last month of 15%. So the system is facing very significant pressures as a result of flu, of COVID, of strep A. And it's at this time that trade unions have not only chosen to strike, but have refused to put in place national exemptions to say they will cover all of the life-threatening and emergency Cat 1, Cat 2 calls. That in turn makes the contingency measures much more difficult to plan.
Secretary of State, and I'm sure the unions would say that they're not putting patients at risk. You're actually putting patients at risk by not being willing to discuss their pay requests. Now, this has been solved in Scotland by meeting the pay requests of striking staff there. Would the government go to something like that, 7.5% for nurses, to try and resolve these strikes?
Well, one of the big misconceptions about the deal in Scotland, and incidentally, the GMB were opposed to the deal in Scotland. They're one of the trade unions that are striking. But it wasn't simply 7.5%. If you add in all the other measures in terms of reducing hours, extra annual leave, changes to the way overtime is addressed, protected learning time, actually the cost of that is much more significant. And as I say, one of the trade unions has rejected that as well. But what we want to do is focus on patients, get that investment into the NHS, into social care, address the blockage. There are patients that are ready to leave hospital who it's not in their interest to stay. So get that social care and flow working. That is what we prioritised, and we've done that whilst also listening to an independent process around the pay review bodies. We've accepted those recommendations in full, and that builds on the extra 3% we awarded last year at a time when other public sector workers faced a freeze.
Okay.
Well, the bills are going up for everybody, not just the rich people get it easier, believe it or not. I think rich people struggle. Crazy, isn't it? But anyway, that's all in this video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace. Until you got this. See you next one. Peace.